The South African National Defence Force says it will cooperate with a police investigation after an Alexandra man was allegedly beaten to death by a group of soldiers. It's reported that Collin Khoza was assaulted for drinking alcohol inside his home. He is the 9th person to die at the hands, allegedly, of the law enforcement officials during this lockdown. For more on this story, I'm joined by Brigadier Mathapelo Peters. She joins us on the line, speaking on behalf of the police ministry. Brigadier, good morning to you. The description that I've just painted in that intro about the Alexandra man, Mr. Collin Khoza, is that, in a nutshell, what happened to what led to him dying?
Good morning, Collin. Good morning to your viewers. Yes, I can confirm that on Good Friday, police at Alexandra opened a case of murder after it was reported that a man had been assaulted by members of the South African National Defence Force, and the man unfortunately passed away a few hours later. So at this stage, we are unfortunately not able to elaborate more because this is now an open investigation.
But, Brigadier, I can't just stop there. I've got to understand from you, what is it that Mr. Khoza did wrong? The story is that he was drinking alcohol inside his own home.
Actually, that is exactly what we are investigating. Remember, once a case is opened, then it is upon us to take statements from witnesses, to take statements from the complainants. And that is why I'm saying that we are unable to elaborate on it, because all the allegations are now a subject of investigation. We've got what we've been given by the complainant. We've got what we've been getting from the witnesses. We still need to speak to the suspects as well, so that we can arrest if there are to be any arrests. And in fact, the biggest thing here is that we're also waiting for the post-mortem results, because the man did not pass away right away at the scene. It was a few hours later.
Brigadier, the person we are speaking about is the 9th person to die allegedly at the hands of either the police or members of the South African National Defence Force during this lockdown period. A simple question to you. Have these officers or these members of law enforcement enforcing this lockdown, have they become overzealous in as far as the amount of force they're using, which goes against what the President said at the start of this?
Well, clearly, the Minister of Police, General Bekitele, has gone on record to say that, number one, it was over 8 cases, in fact, that the IPID was investigating on allegations of police brutality. There was at least 3 incidents where I know that members of the South African Police Service particularly were accused of having killed victims. And in all these 3 instances, the members were cleared by the IPID. In fact, if I can just remember one specific one, the one of Phosphorus, it was a private security guard that was arrested, and no South African Police Service members were involved. However, we want to allow the IPID to conduct their own investigation and then give the outcomes which they will brief the minister on. So at this stage, we are unable to say whether it is overzealousness and all that. But at the same time also, we want to speak to our members of the public to please obey the rules of the lockdown, because if they are indoors, if they are stay home like the President requested, we won't be sitting with all of these stories.
Brigadier, can I just come in there? You're saying exactly what people, at least the ones that we're talking about, have done, which is to stay within their homes, but officers are getting inside their homes and are brutalizing them. Let's talk about the Westbury case, for example. The people there were simply doing a braai inside their yard, and the video is there for you to see. They're being assaulted.
Yes, Polly, I spoke to one of your reporters actually yesterday about this Westbury incident, and we did our own internal investigation because we needed to understand the circumstances that transpired prior to this video clip itself. So at this stage, we are trying to, we are not trying, we are speaking to the members. We have established what happened. We have established the identities of those members. It's an internal case that we are looking into because we need to understand whether indeed, as alleged, were these people inside the yard or outside? Because if they are inside, like the minister and both the president have said, I mean, the minister even said at some point that if you want to run or walk your dog, you can do it inside your yard. So we would want to understand, and that is why it's important for us to investigate what actually transpired. We need to see both sides of the story.
All right, let's now talk about the status of your own members in as far as the infection of this coronavirus. How many members nationally of the South African Police Service are infected or have been infected with COVID-19 as we speak?
Well, unfortunately, it's only the minister that will be able to pronounce on those statistics, but I can confirm we do have a number of members that have tested positive. We are taking the necessary precautions. Those police stations where those members have been working were temporarily shut down to be disinfected, and the members are being taken through counseling that have been in close contact with them. So those processes are underway, but unfortunately, I do not have the authority to pronounce on that.
Okay, that's fine, but what is the protocol? Once a member is confirmed to be positive and they come from a particular station. Let's use, for example, the case of the Douglasdale police station this weekend. What was the procedure there?
Polly, I think the processes are clear, especially in as far as the Department of Health's processes. The station gets shut down. In fact, the specific one of Douglasdale that you're talking about, it was temporarily shut down. Then obviously the first thing would be to trace any of the members, whether of the public or the colleagues who have been in contact with this member. And then the station gets disinfected and desanitized. And then once it's declared ready to open, the services are continuing. But also what we are doing so that we make sure that service delivery is not compromised, there was a makeshift CSC at which members of the public could get services rendered to them.
But it does appear that service delivery could possibly be hampered in a case, for example, of Tembisa, where yet another police officer was said to have been infected, and colleagues were saying we're now scared of actually going back to work and we would like to self-isolate. Are those police officers allowed to go and self-isolate?
Actually, we do have systems in place. I believe it's everyone's responsibility. The police also have a steering committee which is seeing to the hygienic protocols, the COVID-19 protocols at our stations, protection for our members. So I want to believe that we do have the capacity as the police to take the necessary precautions. And that is why I even talked about the employee health wellness programs who are also involved in such cases. They will be counseling the members, tracing those members so that we make sure that they are quarantined, whether it's self-quarantine or whether they get admitted, but that these necessary processes are in place and will take place.